that is the attitude you should have. But if the first thing you bring up when you look at the standings is Craig Counsell, then he has real estate in your head.
I don't think you can even argue.
No argument.
The Green Bay Packers
argument
were
the way it ended. But like I just said it, like they were 7-8 last year against everyone besides the Bears, right?
Unique and compelling analysis and opinions when it comes to your favorite teams.
As much as they want, because both teams are good, and that game to be those two.
Kyle, you're not feeling this.
Jason knows I'm not feeling
Kyle
that.
and I have already had this argument.
Yeah.
You hate that I feel.
What else was on the WB back then? What else did I miss?
You probably saw the Wayans brothers, right?
Yeah.
The Jamie Foxx show. Come on now, Craig. Come on, Craig. You know the Jamie Foxx show?
No.
You know
This is Sunday Karma, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue. Here's GKB founder and CEO, Craig Karmazin.
I've been warning you for a few weeks now. Been warning you, Kyle. Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, yeah, you have been. You sure have been, because, man.
If we're not careful, all of a sudden they're going to become the favorites to win the NL Central.
I love them.
And what they've popped, and you've loved them since the beginning of the year. You've been big on this team. But I happen to have on ESPN Bet, I think 4 games into the season.
Yeah.
Made a little bet on the Brewers to win the division and a little bigger bet on the Brewers to win the National League. So listen to how much these odds have changed since the day I made the bet until now. So when I made the bet, and it is, let's see, I bet them to win the division on April 5th. Okay? So April 5th, they were ready. I actually think I was waiting for them to lose a game because I felt like, maybe their odds are a little inflated because they were off to such a hot start. So April 5th, the Milwaukee Brewers, it was before they beat the Mariners that day. So they were 4-1. So when I bet the Brewers to win the division, they were plus 600. So you know what that means?
For every 100 you bet, you get 600?
Yes.
Woo! How many hundreds did you put down? A couple?
1.5.
Oh, okay. So that's not bad. So
yeah,
you come up.
So $154.46 is what I had left in the account. So I bet it all at the time.
You bet it all. You bet the house. You bet everything you had.
So it pays $1,081.22.
That's not bad. That's to win the division, right?
Yeah. Now, so that was plus 600. So bet 100 to get 600 plus your original 100 back, right? So that's 100, basically to win 600. What do you think today, if you bet that 100 on the Milwaukee Brewers, what do you think you win today?
Is it 250?
If you bet 100 on the Milwaukee Brewers today, you win 55.
55? So
Yep.
if they're plus?
They are minus.
Oh, wait, minus, yes.
Minus 155 to win the division now. So it's actually
confused. So
it's actually what I just said is incorrect. What it's actually is you need to bet 155
to win 100.
To win 100.
Woo! Wow.
That's how good the odds makers at ESPN Bet and around, all of the odds now feel about this Brewers team, which you'd think, all right, well, what is it, 7 games after yesterday? And, it was the White Sox, so you knew they'd find a way to win. I've watched White Sox games. Oh, I guess the Cubs won, so the Cubs got it back to 6.5. But 7 over the Cardinals after yesterday, 6.5 ahead of Craig Counsell and the Chicago Cubs. So, but we're sitting here 68 games into the year, right? So this is less than halfway into the year. So a lot can happen, but think about how much that's changed. Now, where I really want to go to is winning the National League, right? Because that's something the Brewers have never done in our lifetime, but they did it in my lifetime back in 1982.
Don't clump me into that one. We ain't the same.
Yeah. So back in 1982, but back then, do you know how it worked back then?
It was only, 4 teams made the playoffs?
Yeah, the Brewers were in the American League.
AL East,
and
right?
they were in the East. Yeah, exactly. So the Brewers were in the AL East, which meant they had to beat the Yankees, the Orioles. You know, there were some good teams back in the day.
So you are right, actually. The Brewers have never won the NL pennant.
Yeah, Brewers have never won the National League, right? So I also decided on April 17th that I was going to throw a dollar or two on the Brewers to win the pennant. What do you think they were to win the pennant on April 17th?
If it was 600 to win the division.
Now, this was 12 days later.
12 days later, it still had to be like plus 1,000, right?
Plus 4,000.
Ooh, my goodness.
Okay. So plus 4,000 to win the division, to win the pennant. How much do you think those odds have improved? So what do you think the belief is? Because remember, there's still the Braves, there's still the Dodgers, and obviously now the Phillies have been the class of the National League. So they were plus 4,000 then to get there, 40-1. That means if you played it out 40 times, the belief is the Brewers would win it once. What do you think it is now to win the pennant?
To win the pennant, it has to be more like, 10?
12.
12?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying
it has to be.
This is where I want to go because obviously a 12-1 chance to win the pennant is incredible compared to 40-1. And by the way, when the season started, I did that on April 17th when the Brewers were playing well and in first place. So it was like 80-1 or something if I'd done it 2 weeks earlier, 3 weeks earlier. So my question is for you, Kyle. How do you feel about the way our different teams in the state of Wisconsin choose to go after their pennants? Because I feel like they couldn't be more different in terms of how each team tends to do it. Now,
I like this, Craig.
You could argue that, wait, isn't kind of Ryan Braun and Christian Yelich kind of like the Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers where they're willing to pay the one big guy? But I don't think that's really true because the Packers are willing to pay, like Jair Alexander is the highest paid cornerback also, right? So football is different than baseball. So I think when you look at it, you have to really say the Packers, the Bucks, and the Brewers all go at it a really different way. And all three teams, if you compare it to their subsets of who you would compare them to, have all been wildly successful. Wildly successful. Now, you could say that the Packers should have won more than 2 Super Bowls in the last 30 years, but they've won 2 Super Bowls in the last 30 years. Most teams would say, I'll take 2 Super Bowls over the last 30 years. More teams than not have not won 2 Super Bowls over the last 30 years. I think there's only 4 teams who've won 2 Super Bowls over the last 30 years, which is crazy, but...
And it pains me that we're one of the teams that's only won 2 Super Bowls.
No, I know, but you're saying only one, but I mean, you look at it and we know, right, how many teams have never been to a Super Bowl, much less not one, right? You go through it in the AFC East, only the Patriots have won a Super Bowl during that time. In the AFC North, Steelers got one, right? Steelers just got one?
The Steelers just got one, and that because they lost when they played Seattle. No, they beat when they played Seattle, and then they lost when they played the Packers.
Yep. So Ravens got 2.
They did. They got one back early in
right. They got Flacco and they got Dilfer. Right. So the Ravens got 2. Bengals, Browns, no. So like one team per division, right? Indy only got 1. Right, with Peyton.
Only got 1 with Peyton. Broncos got 1.
Right, we know Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee. Denver's got 3. Kansas City's got 4, right? No, Denver's got 3. Kansas City got 3.
I think they have 3, man, which is incredible because they were. I mean, you talk about 10 years before now.
Yep. Dallas got multiples. I mean, it was way back in the day, right? But if we're counting Brett Favre's era, Dallas got them. Washington, I don't know if we'd have to be going to earlier.
It would be Washington won in 80s.
I mean, they just
right? Was it late 80s?
Yeah, they got one in that time. So
30, you said 30 years? Oh, you said
Yeah.
the Favre time.
Yeah.
30 years. I don't know.
Right. So, but basically, the point is, the Packers are in the top third of teams when it comes to winning Super Bowls. The Bucs have won an NBA championship, which doesn't typically happen for markets this size. And, if you look at it also, there's only a subset, less than half the teams that win championships, right? You could put a handful of teams, right? The Lakers, the Celtics, the Spurs, the Heat, and they've won, and the Golden State, right? You put those 5 teams, they've won 80% of the championships, right? You have a Denver here, you have a Cleveland there, you have a Milwaukee there. But so our teams have been so successful. Now, the Brewers are a little bit of an outlier right now. But if you look at since Mark Attanasio bought the team, the Brewers have a better record than the Cubs.
Yeah.
A better record than the Cubs. And that is an unbelievable accomplishment when you look at the dollars, the market size, all those things. And the Brewers have been a top 10 team, and I believe the third best record in the National League over that time. So the question is, knowing that that Willy Adames is going to be a Brewer for the rest of this season, has a chance to lead them to a pennant, pay off that 40-1 bet, but there's a better chance that he's gone at the end of the year and that compensatory picks lead to the next players and the next trades and the next things when you see teams like the New York Mets who every year buy all the players they can and it doesn't make you anything. My question is this. Do you want all your teams to be like the Brewers or like the Bucks or like the Packers? Are you happy with all three and the leadership and how they run their teams? Or are there ones you're disappointed in, right? You could say, hey, look at the Bucks. I don't like the Bucks because they got rid of Coach Bud. They had no loyalty to Drew Holiday, 2 guys who won them a championship, and all of a sudden, Coach Bud and Drew Holiday were out, right? That may not fit your values. What I want to know today and right now, and you can hit us on the talk line, which we'd love to talk to you at 800-990-ESPN. It's 800-990-3776. You can hit us on our YouTube conversation. If you're watching us, we'll pull it up and chat with you on YouTube and see what you have to say. Or you can text us at 800-990-ESPN. That's 800-990-3776. Yep, this is today. This is your feedback because I'm fascinated because every one of these teams, in my opinion, is run exceptionally well, but they're run stylistically so different. Couldn't be more different. And, you've heard me say it on the air. I think the Packers are really run well. I don't like it. I'm more of an all-in, go for the championship. But I recognize that in my way of doing that, maybe we never would have got Aaron Rodgers because I would have been drafting a weapon for Brett Favre, right? So things you don't have to say it's bad just because it's not your style. But how do you feel about those 3 teams, how they run them? Which styles do you like? Which styles don't you like? What would you change? And what do you like to see how they run it that way for all 3 teams? We're going to chat with you about that as we continue. It is 800-990-ESPN. 800-990-3776. Also join the conversation on ESPN Madison, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube. It is Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some. Why are you throwing? I don't want.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
What are we doing today?
One of the employee owners has an idea.
Who is it?
Casey Goodson.
Well, hi, you must be Casey Goodson.
That's me. Casey has been with Kessler's for 22 years and became an owner 12 years ago.
We're excited to hear your idea, Casey.
I call it the One Collection.
But we've had special collections in the past.
What are you saying?
Casey, I think Rick is saying that this can't be the one collection because we've offered special collections in the past.
I'm not saying it's the first collection. It's a special collection of engagement rings for the woman that you know is the one. The one for you. The one forever.
What's in it?
Incredibly special rings for incredibly special women.
How much?
Most of them are between $725 and $2,800.
I like it.
I like it.
Me too.
When you have found the one, you'll find her ring waiting patiently for you to come and pick it up at Kessler's.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
It's almost time for Milwaukee's Summerfest, presented by American Family Insurance. Don't miss REO Speedwagon, Three Dog Night, Goo Goo Dolls, plus Gin Blossoms, The Wallflowers, Bodine's, and more. Get tickets now at Summerfest.com.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza! Jigsaw!
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
The Island Resort and Casino is the Midwest's premier resort destination, giving guests the total experience. With a luxury hotel, full-service spa, live lounge and headline entertainment, multiple dining options, and more, all surrounding a lively Vegas-style casino. And atop many a golfer's bucket list are the island's 2 championship courses, Sweetgrass and Sage Run. When we say your total experience, we mean it. Plan your getaway today at islandresortandcasino.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here, and there is one thing I think everyone can agree on. Potholes stink. And this year's weather will make it one of the worst years yet. Well, Johnson & Sons Paving is ready to take on the challenge with a team that has over 2 decades of experience. When the potholes pop up in your asphalt, Johnson & Sons Paving can patch or replace the whole area. Book an appointment now at johnsonsonspaving.com. Get that appointment booked before May 31st, and you might even see Old T on the job site for a visit. Find full contest details at ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
Right now, more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care need our help. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is focused on finding them safe, permanent homes. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Last night, Joker advances.
Oh, he came back
out of the 3rd round. Yeah, he was down 2-1. Won the last set at Love. 6-Love to win his 5-setter, his 369th win at a major, tying him with Roger Federer for the most. in the Open era. Serena Williams, 367, most in women's, just 2 behind the 2 of them. All right, so you said it right there. There's power. It's all about power, and we're talking about the organizations in our state. And Packers, Bucks, Brewers, they're all run very differently. We are fortunate. I don't think anyone could argue that any of them are poorly run, right? I mean, you don't want to make that argument, do you?
No, that's not true.
It's not even close, right? All of them are really well run. So as Wisconsin sports fans, we are really, really spoiled. So that's why it's not about like, okay, which organization isn't run well, because they're all run well. I mean, look at it. Brewers are back in first place. Brewers have been in the postseason, just about every year, right? I mean, 7 out of 8, whatever it is. I mean, it's insane. Bucks won a championship in the postseason every year. We talked about that last week. Most accomplished team in the NBA, along with the Denver Nuggets over the last 6 years. And then you have the Packers, who have been third or fourth winningest team over the last 30 years, right? Consistent in the postseason and all that. But the question I have for you is, give me a call, shoot me a text, or jump on YouTube and let me know, which of the teams do you like how they run them, and which of the teams don't you like? Or you may like them all, or you may disagree with how they're run. But how do you like the philosophy of the ownership of the Brewers and Bucks and the leadership of the Green Bay Packers? That's what we're talking today. 800-990-ESPN. It's 800-990-3776. Or you could jump on ESPN Madison's YouTube or ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube and chat with us there. ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube happens to be where I'm logged in now. So if you do put a comment in the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube, I'm more likely to see it a little quicker if you want to jump in on the conversation. So Kyle, I want to start with the Milwaukee Brewers because they are the team 6.5 games ahead of the Cubs, 7 games ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals. Where do you stand on how the Milwaukee Brewers run things? And how comfortable are you? How much do you like? Or actually, no, I won't even set you up that way. I'm going to say, of the 3, which do you like the most and which do you like the least?
The one I like the most clearly is the one for me that's probably been the most successful in my entire life is the Green Bay Packers. And though there's probably a lot of frustration with what you talked about, you probably wouldn't have drafted Aaron Rodgers because of the fact that it would have been nice to get Brett Favre some additional weapons to try to win the Super Bowl. And so, but the fact of the matter is that the Green Bay Packers in the last 30 years have consistently been in the conversation about the playoffs, consistently been in the conversation about winning championships because they've gotten it right at the quarterback position.
See, and
also they build.
I get it. It's just not. I mean, to me, that's the one I think I'm least all in on, right? Because to me, the NFL is best set up for every team to have a chance. So I don't think the financial stuff of being a smaller market works against you in the way it does all of the other markets. And again, maybe I'm not giving the Packers enough credit for Titletown and the stadium renovations and all that because I want to give them credit for that.
And winning.
Well, forget about the winning part because, again, I'm saying all these teams have been successful.
Yeah,
I'm not arguing that.
But one's been the most successful of them all. It's not even close.
Right. Absolutely. I don't think... No way you could argue that, right?
Yeah. So
I mean, because you'd have to go back to the 80s. If you loop the 80s in, the Bucks can start to get closer, but they still don't have...
The Bucks and Brewers were so bad during the time of the 90s for the Brewers and the early 2000s for the Brewers and a little bit of the 90s for the Bucks and then just being mediocre for the Bucks for so long.
Right. I mean, the Bucks, the Bucks, if you bring it all in, you're still not even getting to another championship, whereas the Packers have the 2 Super Bowl wins and the Super Bowl loss, whereas the Bucks only have the one NBA Finals Larry O'Brien win, right? So yeah, there's no doubt. But to me, I'm not talking about the results. I'm talking about the philosophy. And where you're saying the Packers are for you the best, to me, and again, I'm owning the fact that Aaron Rodgers may not have been a Green Bay Packer and you may not have found your quarterback, but I believe that Ted Thompson, Goody knew how to find quarterbacks because they found them. And it's not like they found them, in the top 5 of the draft.
No, not at, both were in the 20s.
So I'm saying
mid-20s.
I'm saying I think they could have waited another year or two and found it, and both teams would have been more likely to have won another Super Bowl or two. And that's why philosophically, to me, it is so hard to win a championship that when you're close, you have to go for it. To me, that is just philosophically what I believe, which is why, you can fairly say, hey, the Bucs are your lowest if you're aligned organizationally, because you could say, you fire Coach Bud? What is that, a panic move? You lose in the first round? What are you doing? You're trading Drew Holiday, and Drew's back in the NBA championship. What are you doing on that, right?
Nobody cares.
So to me, though, that's not. I think that I want organizationally, I would rather be like the Bucs, who are like, all right, we're going to do anything we can to try to win. Whereas to me, the Packers, I feel like had they not, traded up for Jordan Love and spent 2 draft picks that year, like they were on the brink of winning, and there could have been another Super Bowl, and instead you lose in the NFC Championship to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, because Tom Brady and the Buccaneers add 2 guys in the draft that year who end up putting them over the top to beat the Packers when the Packers had home field advantage and the Packers had crappy wide receivers. So to me, organizationally, I want to be an organization that's always going to go all in. And, the Packers, this year there was a free agent, right? But to me, there's not enough of that urgency. And again, obviously, what they've done is successful. I get it. And I don't want them to be erratic. So I like that they have an organizational philosophy that they stick to, and it's been really successful. I just don't believe in it.
So you spent all this time to just say that you don't believe in the Packers without saying who you believe has the best run organization out of 3 that we have in our major sports between the Brewers, the Packers, and the Bucs.
I'm not saying I don't believe in the Packers. I don't believe in their philosophy.
Yeah,
I do believe.
Whose philosophy do you believe in?
I believe most in the Bucs philosophy.
Oh, Craig. Now, Craig, out of all 3, and I like them all, the Bucs are probably at the bottom.
How?
Because the Milwaukee Brewers figured it out, right? Where you had Stearns that came in, because before we were doing a pretty good, decent job, but we couldn't find consistency. Stearns and Counsell brought a level of consistency for us to be able to have, and now we're continuing to see it play out right now. And with the fact that you see this youth movement, the Brewers lost their manager, the Brewers lost their ace pitcher, and the Brewers are still in first place, and they're doing it with a lot of guys that are still 25 or younger. They're doing it with guys that they just traded for. They're doing it with relievers that they grab from other teams. The Milwaukee Brewers are becoming a model of success. And like I said, the reason why I was so mad at Craig is because what they
Craig Counsell, not me.
Craig Counsell, yes, not you. Craig Counsell is because the Brewers were putting themselves in a position like the Green Bay Packers, right? You're always having a crack at it. And I believe even last year when we lost to the Arizona Diamondbacks, they didn't win the World Series, but what'd they do?
They got to the World Series.
Just like everybody else. So what the Brewers have done, if they have created a consistent model of being able to develop talent, which is key, because without being able to develop talent in a farm system, you're not going to have this consistency. But then also when guys get here, you coach them up very well, and the Brewers are always in the conversation, even to this moment where you said it yourself. We're 6.5 games up, and the odds were – we were supposed to finish, I think, last place in this division or second to last place in this division.
Last. They had the worst odds to win the division.
And now we are in first place, and now we are a real competitive team. We'll see what happens after July. But right now, I would say you got to give your hats off to the Milwaukee Brewers. They found a model of consistency. Not saying that the Bucs don't have a great model.
No, but you're saying, and I think all 3, that's why I said all 3 are so well run. So you're going Packers 1, Brewers 2, Bucs 3. All you need to do is look in the mirror at the other side of American Family Field today and look at the Chicago White Sox, and you could see how quickly it could go bad when, like you said, if the players you're trying to develop don't work. 5 years ago, the White Sox were in first place and had a young team that looked like they were going to be around for a while. So that's why I'm saying don't sleep on the sustained success that the Milwaukee Brewers have had. When you're like, oh, they don't pay people. The Brewers have had sustained success, and however they're doing it, it is impressively working.
Well, here's what I love is Matt Arnold and also Antanasio is you talked about at the start of the show with Willie Adames. Last year, the Brewers got frustrated. The players got frustrated a couple years ago when they traded Josh Hader at the deadline. You talked about you're going to get a compensation, competitive balance compensation you're going to get for him, so you may be able to get another player. The fact that the owner said, yeah, we're going to keep him for the rest of the year, I like the fact that they actually learn, right? So
no, they didn't learn.
No, they did learn.
No.
You trade with it. You get rid of
Josh Hader. The story came out last week. Josh Hader was a totally unique situation. Josh Hader wasn't willing to pitch more than 3 outs.
He sure wasn't.
Right? I'm saying, like, Josh Hader was traded.
Ruined the team, though.
Right. But Josh Hader staying may have hurt the team. We don't know how that would have happened. All right, Jason Wilde is not ruining the team, but he's joining us in moments on Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I'm Ben Jewick with Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors. The crew is winning ball games here in Milwaukee and around the country. Our team stands ready to help your organization win across North America. Powered by Coakley Connect, our revolutionary facilities management platform. The Coakley crew supports clients across the country manage their real estate portfolio, offering facility-focused products and services, interior design, construction, new furniture, installation, and move management. We'll help you create and manage interior environments that drive your teams forward. Visit CoakleyBrothers.com and hit a home run.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. While leaning over the fence, your neighbor said you could save money bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. Your neighbor leaned over a little too much and broke your fence. Dumb news. Somehow fence wood is more expensive than wood. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and to plant really tall shrubs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman here for Carbless, my go-to drink this summer. Handcrafted right here in Wisconsin, Carbless is a ready-to-drink vodka and tequila cocktail. Perfect for hanging out on the patio by the grill, chilling on the lake, or tailgating at the Brewers game. Plus, it's got 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. All summer, make sure you're following Carbless on Instagram at Drink Carbless for your chance to win a Summer Bliss prize package. Find Carbless online and at retailers near you. Carbless. Bliss is more.
Eagle Sports Range has an unbeatable offer on concealed carry license classes. For just $49, enroll in their 3-hour class led by expert instructors prioritizing safety. Learn laws, techniques, and mindset for responsible carrying. Stick around for an optional hour of range time with instructors included in the package. Practice under professional guidance and gain confidence. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day at 2525 East Layton Avenue in Cudahy. Secure your spot at eaglesportsrange.com. Eagle Sports Range, where safety meets skill.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean green certified products. That means quality you can trust every time. With 7 locations across the UP, including Menominee, Norway, and Ironwood, finding your Higher Love is easier than ever before. And for our friends in Green Bay, Higher Love is less than an hour away. Kindness starts with you. Experience Higher Love today. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD and follow them on social media at Find Higher Love.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Jason Wilde is brought to you by Boucher Automotive, where we ride with you every mile. 18 dealerships, 15 brands, and thousands of vehicles in stock. Check them out at Boucher.com.
Whoa, when this song started, I thought it was a different song.
What song would that be?
Mo Money, Mo Problem, right?
Oh, yeah, Diddy's banned, right?
Right. I think Diddy is pretty much banned.
Yeah, I don't mess with Diddy.
Yeah. Speaking of the Brewers, by the way, I don't know what the Brewers did to Aaron Judge. When he came to Milwaukee, he had 4 home runs on the year. He's got 20 home runs now.
Wait, that was like 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
When the Yankees were here, was not that long ago.
It's very recent.
He had 4 home runs. It was the end of April, basically.
Dang, so he had like 15 home runs in a month?
He has 16 home runs, I think. Well, actually, including the end. It's up to 20. He's at 3 in the last 2 days. Pretty insane. We bring in Jason Wilde, and we continue the conversation with Jason on which organization in the state of Wisconsin do you like the most, how philosophically they run their team, and which do you like the least of the Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Chef Ed jumped in with, I don't like the way the Packers handle things. They never go and get the free agents to get them another Super Bowl, and they don't treat their veterans right. Kyle has said he thinks the Packers are the best, Brewers are the second best, and the Bucks are the third in terms of not the results necessarily, but philosophically how they run their organization. Jason, what say you? Who do you put in the number 1 slot?
Well, first of all, Kyle, I thought that was an outstanding argument that you were making with Craig before the break. Sydney's got a soccer tournament here in Pewaukee, so we were able to listen to the show as we're heading over to her game. And I thought you made a convincing case. I can't figure out, Sydney wants to listen to the show while I'm on it instead of just hearing my half, but I can't turn the radio on in the car, right? Because that's going to cause...
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. It's the opposite of my daughter, who, when I'm driving her and on the air, both doesn't want to hear me or the show. So I think both of them are very difficult, but at least you have a kid who wants to hear the show.
Well, maybe she just wants to hear you and Kyle, in fairness. But so I think here's the problem with the Bucks and the issue that I have, and Craig, you're obviously very close to it, and so they may have figured it out now, right? Like the issue is that the way things kind of played out from Bud to then all the kind of quagmire we went through with the changing of coaches after 43 games, the struggles that Dame had, like it looks like they should be third. I think Kyle made a good point there, and so I tend to agree with that. But my issue with what the Packers are doing goes back to something that Craig has said for a very long time, and that was this idea of whether it was the drafting of Jordan Love or always wanting to be in the mix but never really truly quote-unquote going for it, is that will this approach, which worked like a charm after they started 2-5, the approach of going young and constantly turning over the roster and believing that you can always replace good players by drafting well with more young players and not giving out third contracts. I think Kenny Clark's going to be a fascinating case study on that part of it. But the idea that maybe it's a young man's game and we're not going to bother not only with third contracts, but we're not going to even do a lot of second contracts, is that going to work? Because that, I think it worked last year to the degree that they got to the NFC divisional round. But we're here to win titles, right? Whether you're the Brewers, the Bucks, or the Packers. And will that be sufficient for them to win another Super Bowl doing it this way? Well, the jury's still out, and we'll have to wait and see.
Well, they were ahead of schedule, certainly this past year, doing it the way they've done it. And I think expectations this year are then ahead of any schedule we could have had. So, Jason, so that means, are you saying that you like Kyle's Brewers arguments, or are you saying Brewers 1, Packers 2, Bucks 3 is where you are?
No, so here's the reason why this is such a fascinating topic. Because the team that, as of the start of these three teams' seasons, like going back to the start of the Bucks season, the start of the Packers, the start of this Packers off season, and the Brewers start of their season, wouldn't you have said that the Bucks were the closest to winning a title?
Absolutely. I mean, that's not even an argument when you look at the odds, right? The Brewers were 5th of 5. The Packers were 3rd. The Packers were maybe 8th in the NFC, maybe worse in terms of odds.
Jason just dropped a nugget. That is incredible. They were the closest, but in the end, the Packers ended up being the real closest.
Right.
Right. With Giannis's injury, but again, that's part of organizational philosophy, right? Obviously, the Bucks are building. The Bucks are building around superstars, which I think is the way you need to build in the NBA. But still, when you build that way, there's the risk of injury.
Right, and so I would tend to agree with Kyle's list, but I think it proves how quickly things can shift. And when I talk about the Packers' philosophy, I think we can all agree, like you said, it's made them a contender sooner than we anticipated. But is that going to be sustainable? Because you were asking about philosophy. You're not just talking about, well, who's got a best chance to win a title with this upcoming season, or the one that the Brewers are in now. You're asking the philosophy being sustainable. And I don't know about the Packers' philosophy being sustainable.
Well, and Jason, I think if we're going to talk philosophy on some levels, you could almost argue that the length of time we should be thinking about is the length of time that this current Bucks ownership has owned the team, the length of time that Mark Attanasio has owned the team, and the length of time that Mark Murphy has led the Packers organization, right? Because that's about to change with the Packers, right? So who knows, with a new leader up top, how that philosophy could even change.
Well, and look, Giannis, Jordan Love is obviously the Packers' Giannis, right? So they are counting on him when he gets his new contract of being that elite level of a player. And if they have him and he is healthy, then their philosophy about changing over the roster, which Goody has dropped plenty of breadcrumbs. And if one of the things, and Kyle, I know we talked about this on KBN, he made the comment during the draft that the league average now for re-signing players to a second contract from your draft class is 1.6 players per draft class. And he brought that up. No one asked him about it.
Wait. So, Jason, just explain that. So that's to sign a second contract? Only 1.6 is the average?
Correct.
So that's not a third contract, which you were talking about with Kenny Clark.
Right, and I use John Runyon as an example. In a previous era, John Runyon, who started 50 games at guard for this team over 4 years, he's like T.J. Lang, he's Josh Sitton, he's those type of guys that was a day 3 pick who turns out to be a good player. I wouldn't say he was as good as those two, but he was in that range. He's the kind of guy that you would have re-signed previously to a good, not bank-breaking second contract. Instead, I think what Goody was trying to tell us without flat-out saying it is that if they believe in their draft philosophy, which they clearly do, that we're not going to re-sign guys to second contracts just because they were good. We're going to say, look, we can have John Runyon and pay him a lot, but not, record-setting guard money, or we can let him walk. We can draft Travis Glover, and we can draft Jacob Monk, and we can replace those types of guys with rookie contracts, which are less expensive. We can spend on a few spots, but we are going to trust the fact that we draft well enough.
So Jason,
that we can constantly replace these guys.
The reason you would do that, and I know we're getting a little off topic here, but the reason you do that is because you want to take that money and put it somewhere else. So where's the different place that the Packers would be putting their money if all of a sudden they're not as likely to re-sign their guys?
Right, because I think they're going to take, it'll be interesting. The test will be how they approach the wide receiver position. Because can we all agree that right now their best 4 wide receivers, when everyone is healthy, which is a big caveat, are Reed, Wicks, Watson, and Dobbs. And then after that, it's Bo Melton, it's the rest of those guys that, Malik Heath, who can be decent players on your roster, but Those are your top.
Probably. I mean, Melton seemed like their best player 1 or 2 games, right?
I love Bo Melton. I'm not underestimating him, but in terms of
likely those 4. That's fair.
Right. I mean, Melton was still technically on the practice squad at the time of his 100-yard game.
Yeah.
He was a game day promotion. So my point is that they're not going to pay all 4 of those guys. How many of them are they going to pay? 1, 2 when it comes time? Like, if Watson stays healthy this year and has the kind of year that he's capable of having when healthy, then they're probably going to want to pay him, right? Because he's got a unique skill set that the others don't. But whatever happens, they're going to have to make some choices there. And just how much are they willing to pay? Because Tausch was bringing this up on our show late in the week, the fact that now Miami has a different philosophy. They paid both Waddle and Tyreek Hill, right? Meanwhile, the Cincinnati Bengals they have their top 2 wide receivers, both skipping the offseason program, Jamar Chase, and help me out here, he's the guy that the Packers should have drafted from Clemson, and they drafted Jordan Love instead,
T.
their
Higgins.
other wide receiver. T. Higgins. They haven't paid either one of them, and I assume they'll pay Jamar Chase and trade T. Higgins. But again, what are the Packers going to do? Where are they going to reallocate that money besides quarterback? Is it going to be on defense? Is it going to be when Lucas Van Ness is ready for a contract? What are they going to use that money for? Because
I mean, it sounds like they're going to use it for Devontae Adams, right?
No? I think Josh Jacobs was being facetious when he, or at least was kidding when he sent the text message to Devontae Adams saying that would you be interested in coming back?
Okay. All right. Wishful thinking. Although I don't know if he could start. I don't know if Devontae could start with that squad that you just mentioned.
Well, from what I hear, you're much better off without a number 1 caliber receiver. You don't want a guy that's going to get a gold jacket potentially. You'd rather have a bunch of young guys.
We didn't win with
them.
them.
I heard on a couple shows.
We didn't win with them.
You're right, and I know you've got some statistics that they didn't win a Super Bowl with them. Like many of these other teams that paid wide receivers. Was that last week's conversation or 2 weeks ago?
I don't know. They all kind of mesh together, but you can always find it on Wisconsin On Demand app.
Yeah, you can, Jason. While everyone thinks you're listening to the soccer game in Pewaukee today, you could just be watching and listening on Wisconsin On Demand to all of your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content. Jason will give us his answer because I don't think he's told us. In order, 1, 2, 3. Packers, Brewers, Bucks. Philosophically, who do you align with the most of their ownership/leadership? We continue with Jason on Sunday Karma.
You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. The road to the NBA Finals happens right here.
He accepts himself, fires the 3, he hits it! Irving will get a good look, and he swishes it through from 3. To Tatum, 1 dribble, squares for 3, hits it!
Catch every minute of NBA Conference Finals action on 94.5 ESPN.
Luka at 5, step back 3 for the lead, he got it! Jump pass into the corner, Derek White for 3, got it! Giving Boston a 105-102 lead. Slam follow, Karl Anthony Towns, he soared in from the wing.
And streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Carbless ready-to-drink cocktails.
Nasty.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
You
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here, and there is one thing I think everyone can agree on. Potholes stink. And this year's weather will make it one of the worst years yet. Well, Johnson & Sons Paving is ready to take on the challenge with a team that has over 2 decades of experience. When the potholes pop up in your asphalt, Johnson & Sons Paving can patch or replace the whole area. Book an appointment now at johnsonsonspaving.com. Get that appointment booked before May 31st, and you might even see Old T on the job site for a visit. Find full contest details at ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
You know that feeling? Like every door is closing and you just can't see a way out? Being unemployed, underemployed, or just out of school can feel like that. But when you find the right tools, suddenly everything just clicks. FindSomethingNew.org offers resources that help develop new skills that can position you for careers in today's growing industries, from healthcare and manufacturing to cybersecurity and alternative energy. Find your path to a new career at FindSomethingNew.org. A message from the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Lucky girl, she got married to a boy like you. She'd kick you out if she ever knew about all the you tell me that you do. Dirty boy, you know everyone is talking on the scene.
Sunday Karma continuing with Jason Wilde as we dissect the organizational philosophies, not just the results. Who of the professional teams in the state of Wisconsin do you agree with the way they philosophically approach trying to build a championship organization? So Kyle is clearly on the record with Packers 1, Brewers 2, Bucks 3. Jason, are you mirroring Kyle?
No, I am not. So so here's the problem with this, and I think the key phrase is not the results, because I think while they botched the coaching change from Bud to Adrian Griffin, and now hopefully Doc is the right answer, I still think that you need veterans and star players on your roster. I know it didn't work out. I'm really eager to see what this year looks like when Dame has had a full off season and they've integrated him into the system they're running. So I am not putting them last. I'm actually putting the Brewers last, because as a small market team, they are never going to be able to do the things that are required to win a World Series without veering off of their philosophy slightly, right? I mean, unless they get very fortunate with a group of farm system promotions, it's going to be a struggle. And so I'm going to put the Packers first with the jury still out on whether this is sustainable, the Bucks second and the Brewers third, only because they are stuck in the small market realm where they're doing it the way they have to do it, and it may not work.
Now, the only thing, Jason, I will say, 2015 Royals win the World Series, 2019 Nationals win the World Series, 2023 the Diamondbacks go to the World Series, right? Like, all of those teams could have been the Milwaukee Brewers. So you said you weren't playing the results, you were playing, the actual philosophy. So the Brewers' philosophy has proven possible. It just obviously hasn't happened to this point.
Well, it has, but it hasn't, because the margin for error for those teams, it's great that those teams had those results, but I just think that baseball is still stacked against teams like this. And, are the Diamondbacks considered a small market team?
Yes.
Obviously, the Royals are.
Yeah, Arizona
the
definitely.
Diamondbacks are by choice. Phoenix.
I mean, Phoenix is still a smaller market. Yes, it is a growing market. Yes, it is a growing market.
So, yeah, I think the Brewers do an outstanding job given the way their sport stacks the deck against them. But if you had your choice of how to build your team, I don't think you would want to do it that way. You do it that way because you have to do it that way.
Right. So, but philosophically, though, when you look at how consistent they've been winning, do you have to say, hey, they're doing it the right way? Or would you rather go more all in, knowing that maybe you could have some more down years on the back end, but you could have a better chance to win on the front end?
Yeah, and again, from what I understand from this former manager that came to town, they didn't accomplish anything during his time. So I'm a little confused that you're saying that they've had this varied amount of success, because from what I heard, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's what Kyle.
They were a complete failure. Yeah.
Somehow Kyle would argue that they've accomplished more in April and May of this year than they did in Craig Counsell's entire tenure, right, Kyle? That's yeah.
Yes, sir.
That really is and if your argument is, hey, they could win this year and they didn't win those other years, then I guess you can't argue that. All right, Jason, before we let you go, anything I should have asked you on the Packers that I didn't?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll be interesting to see if this is our last offseason the way it's currently constructed. We've got another open OTA practice coming up this week, and then they've got the mandatory minicamp the 11th, 12th, and 13th. But this whole idea of changing the way the offseason is structured and having these guys report to training camp in late June, early July, instead of having a 6-week break between the end of the offseason program and the start of training camp, I'm really curious to see if the rank and file players are as interested in this as the NFLPA appears to be. I know Jair Alexander was not a fan when we asked him about it, but Kenny Clark was. So I personally think it's a great off-season program for me, but they're not worried about my schedule. They're worried about players. So we'll see how that plays out. And if there's one of these shows next Sunday, we can discuss them more in depth.
All right, last, you threw out that, so it just got me thinking on one last quickie, Jason. So if the Mark Murphy transition is happening, what's going on with it?
So they have a search committee. They said they thought it would take about 6 months. They are about 3+ months into that process. I think there is an expectation among many of us, myself included, that they have the right person in kind of the air quotes vice presidency. But they are going through a process where they're looking at a varied group of candidates. They've got a search firm involved. But I would be really surprised if they go outside the organization, just because, Ed Policy was instrumental in Titletown. He is extremely well respected in the building across the levels of the flow chart, whether you're a high-ranking official or you're just a regular old staff member at 1265 Lombardi Avenue. So I think they're doing their due diligence, but I think he is and should be the front runner, and I will be surprised if he's not the next president.
Yeah, but a 6 months to at least stack up the other qualified and diversity candidates that I'm sure they want to have before they make a final decision. Thanks, Jason. Good luck in Pewaukee.
All right, fellas, take care. Be good.
There it is, Jason Wilde. We will have our 7 at 11 next. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza! Jinx!
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. There are so many reasons to service your car or truck and buy your next vehicle at one of the 115 Adam member dealers. Adam dealers employ more than 7,500 people in southeastern Wisconsin, which helps support thousands of local families. Adam also contributes to many local charities. For example, Adam recently completed their Change Your Oil, Change Lives promotion, benefiting Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Over the past 14 years, they've raised over $875,000, which provided more than 2.6 million meals to people in southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. These are just a few reasons to service your car or truck and buy your next vehicle from an Adam member dealer instead of a national online company with no ties to our community. To find an Adam member dealer, visit adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Aside from a house or a car specifically, what is the most expensive thing you own? Wendy?
A car.
Name an animal with 3 letters in its name.
Alligator. Name something that's better than being rich.
4. Besides a bird, something in a bird cage.
Hamster.
Something that comes with a summer storm.
Snow.
Something Russia's famous for, Bob.
Russians.
Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Rob!
Naked grandma!
Reason you might stay indoors on a beautiful day.
Because it's raining?
Name something you might buy that could turn out to be phony.
Yeah, a horse.
Name a time that most people get up.
In the morning.
A time most people go to bed.
At night.
This is the 7 at 11 on Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Is the 7 at 11. And I'm doing something to you, Kyle, today, something that I've never done to you or Chewy or anyone who's ever been part of the 7-Eleven before.
Did you play this game when it was the Steve and Craig show?
No. But when Chewy and I did this show originally, do you know what time the show aired?
What was it?
It was 8 to 10.
8 to 10. Okay, I was
yeah.
going to say 7 to 9.
So this was originally the top 9 at 9. It wasn't the 7 at 11. It was the 9 at 9. And so I'm not telling you what I'm doing to you.
That's fine. I'll be surprised.
But I'm doing something to you. And I don't know if you have any good Grateful Dead music to play, because this is inspired You're like Scalzo and Brust. Y'all don't play the Grateful Dead still. You didn't keep that tradition going, right?
Yeah, me and Brad weren't really big fans of the Grateful Dead. And inspired by R.I.P. Bill Walton.
Yes. Right. Bill Walton passed away, one of the great players in NBA history, one of the great broadcasters in ESPN history, one of the great people in the history of the world. Make sure I'm already teasing on our Palermo's picks this week, which, man, I had those Palermo's bowls. Have you had a Palermo's bowl yet?
I have not yet. Is it as good as the pizza?
Oh, is it as good as the pizza? It's so different, but I had one of those Palermo's bowls yesterday. It was so good. I had the pepperoni one. I made it as I was making some food for the kids. Man, it was good. It was good. We'll talk about that coming up with Palermo's picks. But yeah, Palermo's bowls. The thing is, you don't have to preheat the oven. You don't have to do all that. 2 minutes in the microwave. You stir it, and then another minute and a half. Man, those Palermo's bowls. They're easy. They're good. 27 grams of protein in the one I had. Yeah. All right. We'll get to that later. 7 at 11. In honor of Bill Walton, I was trying to stall for you to get some Grateful Dead going. Obviously, that didn't work.
I don't know what the song's clean. You type in clean and nothing comes up.
Oh, I figured we had it in our system.
Hey, that's what I'm trying to look
I figured we had it in our system. All right, don't worry. I'll sing some. So Bill Walton was the NBA Finals MVP as he led the Portland Trailblazers to the NBA championship in 1977. They had the best record and seemed to be on their way in 1978. But they didn't do it. Instead, the Washington Bullets won it that year. So Bill Walton was not able to go back-to-back as MVP of the NBA Finals. What I want to know, because it's happened 7 times in NBA history. Now, keep in mind, they did not have a Finals MVP until 1969. So starting in 1969, 7 times... Oh, there we go. When I speed. All right, 7 times in NBA Finals history, a player has won 2 or more consecutive Finals MVPs. Name the 7 times this occurred. Back-to-back or more Finals MVPs.
Finals MVPs?
2 or 3. Basically, no one's done it 4 times. 2 or 3 in a row. Finals MVP. Name the 7 times this has occurred.
That they got back-to-back Finals MVPs.
Or 3 in a row. Yeah.
3 in a row. Goodness gracious.
It's only happened 7 times ever.
Michael Jordan.
Okay. Michael Jordan did it from 1996 to 1998. That is correct.
Did LeBron never go back? LeBron James?
LeBron James did it with the Miami Heat in their 2 back-to-back championships that he had while he was there. So he did in 2012 and 2013 with the Miami Heat.
So winning 2 or going back-to-back?
Or 2 or 3. Back-to-back is actually winning 2.
Okay.
You have to win. You have to win either 2 in a row or 3 in a row.
2 in a row or 3 in a row.
We said Jordan did it 96 to 98.
I'm just going to say Kareem.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar never did it. Kareem was a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. Once as Lou Alcindor.
I missed some easy.
Once as Lou Alcindor with the Milwaukee Bucks in 1971, and once with the Lakers in 1985. So that is incorrect, and that it is the start of the month of June. You can go with your. We're off a few of these weeks.
Are you off?
I
know next week we'll be live. It will be Jesse Nelson and Pablo Iglesias.
I don't know.
He will be live from the AmFam Championship next week.
Yes, so we will not be here, but we will be, as ESPN Wisconsin will be live from the AmFam Championship in Madison. But you and I will not be here for the 7 at 11.
Yeah, I don't know the following week. Are you here?
I don't know. We're all listed day to day in life. Who knows?
You know what? I'm going to let our ESPN Wisconsin family answer this one because honestly, this one is tough, Craig. I can only think of one other name that I know would have been an easy one. Or maybe two names. No, one name would have been an easy one. The rest is going to be tough.
This is tough. All right, let's open it up right now for you on the phones. 800-990-ESPN. 800-990-3776. The other clue, Kyle, I gave you, I'm doing something to you today that I've never done to Chewy or I've never done to you in our 7 at 11. But we have 7 people in the history since this started in 1969, from the time Jerry West won the first ever NBA Finals MVP, and he didn't go back-to-back, so I'm not giving that away. But from 69 on, only 7 times has a player won 2 in a row or 3 in a row. Want to know who those were? 800-990-ESPN. It is 800-990-3776. LeBron James guessed correctly, his 2 in Miami. Michael Jordan from 96 to 98. And we are looking for 5 others as Kareem was guessed incorrectly. Let's start out with Jeff, who is an electrician. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Jeff.
Good morning, guys. My first guess is going to be Bill Russell.
Bill Russell is not going to be on the list because
I should have went with my other. It didn't start till 69.
Yep, not starting till 69. Thanks for the call, Jeff. Not starting until 69. That's gonna throw you off on Bill Russell. I feel like he would have won like 7 in a row. Not that I would have known that he would have necessarily won it every year, but it would help if I knew his name. All right, let's go to Chris, chiropractor. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Who do you have for us?
I'm gonna Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas. We all remember those bad boy Pistons winning it in 89 and 90. Unfortunately, one of those years, it was Joe Dumars who got the finals MVP. So no back-to-backs for Isaiah. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Daniel, who's a teacher. You're on Sunday Karma.
Yeah. All right. So we got Jordan and LeBron. I'm going to go with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hakeem Olajuwon is absolutely correct. He swept the Orlando Magic. He busted up my New York Knicks. He left me in tears. And 1994 and 1995, he won both of those MVPs. Well done. Do you have another?
I'm going to go Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan racked up his share of MVPs. Tim Duncan got 3 of them. He got one in 99. He got one in 03. He got one in 05. But he never got one back-to-back. Thanks for the call, Daniel. Let's go to Carter, who's a jack of all trades. Morning, Carter.
What's going on? All right, so I'm going to go Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, who won his first NBA Finals MVP in 2022. That was his first one because as no one has guessed. Oh, I thought Kyle got who the other person. Nope. Steph Curry only won. He did not.
Can I throw one more out there?
No, you cannot. Let's
say somebody guess, huh? You're trying to put
No. I was actually thinking that you had gotten the person, but I realized you didn't get the person.
Wait a minute. There was a person from that team that got back-to-back? Really?
So we have Steph Curry guessed incorrectly. We got Isaiah Thomas guessed incorrectly. We got Tim Duncan guessed incorrectly. We got Kareem guessed incorrectly. We got Bill Russell guessed incorrectly. Correct. We have Hakeem in 94, 95. Then Jordan in 96, 97, 98. Then we got LeBron in 12 and 13. We are missing 4 other times that players have gone back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back for MVP. Let's go to Joe, who's retired. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Joe.
Good morning. Anybody try Magic?
Oh, Magic Johnson. You know, we heard Kyle went with Kareem. Well, Magic Johnson has won 3 Finals MVPs. He won one in his rookie year in 1980. He won one in 1982. And he won one in 1987. So 3 times he's gotten it done, but never back-to-back or even back-to-back-to-back, as one guy still has that we're looking for. Let's go to John, who's in sales. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, John.
Morning. Is it Kevin Durant?
Is it Kevin Durant? KD won an MVP with the Golden State Warriors in 2017 and in 2018.
Oh, I didn't realize KD got back-to-back.
So it is Kevin Durant who won it back-to-back. Well done. Do you have another guess for us?
Oh, gosh, no.
Okay.
I was so happy that I had Kevin Durant.
Well, you should be. You got us to where we're now over halfway there. Well done. Let's go to Dan, who's a machine operator. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Dan.
Good morning, guys.
Who do you have for us?
I gotta think Shaq has done it.
Okay, Shaquille O'Neal. Let's look here. Shaquille O'Neal was the MVP of the finals in 2000. He was the MVP of the finals in 2001. He was the MVP of the finals in 2002. He did it back to back to back. Well done.
Oh, we're stupid. That was an easy one.
We are down to only 2 people remaining. Do you have a guess at another one, Dan?
Kobe.
Kobe Bryant. Could he have done it when Shaq had done it 3 times already? Well, Kobe did win the MVP in 2009, and he did also win it in 2010.
Wait, the Lakers went back-to-back?
The Lakers went back-to-back.
Kobe got 5 of them things.
Kobe got 5 with Pau Gasol. Because Shaq got his 4th with the Heat, and then Kobe passed him by getting his 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
Well done.
We should be ashamed of ourselves.
Leaves only 1 player remaining. 1 person remaining.
I think I know it, too.
Who is it?
I just recently saw a thing on the 76ers, and I'm going to say Moses Malone.
He's going to say Moses Malone, and Moses Malone won it in 1983, and that was the only year he got it done.
Oh, man.
Thanks for the call, Dan. We'll take one more call this segment, and it'll be Chad, who's a firefighter. We have one more time this has been done. Let's see if Chad can get it, because what we have so far is Hakeem in 94 and 95, Jordan in 96, 97, 98, Shaq in 2000, 2001, 2002, Kobe in 2009 and 2010, LeBron in 2012 and 2013, and Kevin Durant in 2017 and 2018. What is the other time this has been done, Chad?
Going off your clue, I'm going to say Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson is going to be incorrect. It was Kevin Durant who got it done back-to-back with Golden State. Thanks for the call. By the way, Kyle, I told you going in, I'm going to do something to you that I've never done before.
Ooh, what is that?
That's the thing that is the last answer. That is my clue. My clue is that the last answer is something I've never done on a question before. That's why I've been very specific in the years that I've been mentioning of the times this has happened. It has happened one more time where someone has done 2 or 3 in a row. There's one more time that we have not mentioned in all of the times we have mentioned so far. We'll see if someone can pick up on my clue. When we return, it's 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. In season, off season, draft season. Whatever season it is, we are Milwaukee's place to talk green and gold. Listen, watch, or stream live whenever, wherever. 94.5 ESPN. station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust for Road America, America's National Park of Speed. Make the most out of your summer at Road America, located conveniently between Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Madison in Elkhart Lake. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road course, camp on site all weekend, and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Make sure you get tickets for the NTT IndyCar Series race at Road America June 6th through the 9th. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Curbless ready-to-drink cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean green certified products. That means quality you can trust every time. With 7 locations across the UP, including Menominee, Norway, and Ironwood, finding your Higher Love is easier than ever before. And for our friends in Green Bay, Higher Love is less than an hour away. Kindness starts with you. Experience Higher Love today. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD and follow them on social media at Find Higher Love.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for 2, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 46 to 48 ounce selected varieties Blue Bunny ice cream, $3.99. 14.1 to 33.5 ounce selected varieties Culinary Circle Pizza, $4.99. 64 ounce selected varieties Sunny Delight, 2 for $3. 4 to 6 count selected varieties Northern Bath or Brawny Towels, $7.49.
Why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take them out at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 24th. Eagle Sports Range has an unbeatable offer on concealed carry license classes. For just $49, enroll in their 3-hour class led by expert instructors prioritizing safety. Learn laws, techniques, and mindset for responsible carrying. Stick around for an optional hour of range time with instructors included in the package. Practice under professional guidance and gain confidence. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day at 2525 East Layton Avenue in Cudahy. Secure your spot at eaglesportsrange.com. Eagle Sports Range, where safety meets skill.
One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but a way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for well over 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I think the Bill Walton tribute might be over based on this song.
I got you.
No, we're good. We're good. All right, speaking of got you, we got a lot of people online who think they may have got my clue. Harper. Man, I haven't called Kyle Harper in a while. Kyle, did you figure out my little nugget when I said I did something to you with the question today that I've never done before?
I think I may have, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Well, we are looking for the 7th time that a player has gone either back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back as NBA Finals MVP. We will see if Andy, supply chain, works in the supply chain. He's going to try to get number 7 for us, Andy. Who is it?
It is MJ at the beginning of the 90s, the first time, 91, 2, and 3.
That is correct. Nicely done, Michael Jordan. It's only happened 7 times in the history of the NBA.
So which one did you give me?
And I had said Michael Jordan did it in 96, 97, and 98. But he also did it in 91, 92, and 93. Imagine how good this is, that it's only been done back-to-back 7 times in the history of the NBA, and Jordan did it 3 times in a row, twice. Nicely done, Adam. Andy, sorry about that. Andy, where are you calling from?
Calling from McFarland.
McFarland, we're going to get an ESPN Madison t-shirt coming your way. Hold on. Well done by Andy, which gives me an idea. And it actually didn't give me an idea. I already had the idea. So the NBA Finals isn't going to be starting for a minute here, right? So we had a sweep in the East. We had a 5-game series in the West. And I'm certainly not in position to tell what anyone at ESPN what they should be doing. We just listen to everyone at ESPN and say, wow, that's a good idea. Wow, that's a good idea. So we've had a little bit of a break before the NBA Finals starts on ABC. I don't know, like there aren't like TV shows at night that people care about. I think they should have run back The Last Dance. You could have gotten it in. You could have gotten it in between all these days where there were supposed to be games. I think you could have got all 10 hours in for The Last Dance. I mean, you could still do it. You could still get it in, right? Go 7 to 10, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 9 hours. NBA Finals starts on Thursday on ABC, right? So you only need 1 hour tonight and then 3 hours each, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Run back The Last Dance. Get us all ready for the NBA Finals by reliving the guy who we just found out has 6 NBA Finals MVPs. LeBron James has 4. Magic Johnson has 3. Shaquille O'Neal has 3. Bunch of people have 2. Well done by everyone calling in on those. The NBA Finals does start on Thursday night as the Boston Celtics host the Dallas Mavericks. How about the Dallas Mavericks getting to the NBA Finals? And you know what they have not done? They have not hosted a single series. They've been theoretically the worst seed in every series. They were the 5 seed against the 4-seeded Clippers. Then they took on the 1-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder. And then it was the 3-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. So they've taken out numbers 1, 3, and 4. Remember, the T-Wolves beat the Nuggets in that 2-3 series. So pretty incredible to see the Dallas Mavericks and Jason Kidd, former Milwaukee Bucks head coach, lead this team to the NBA Finals. Especially, I think, you got to give them credit for doing it with Kyrie Irving, who I think most people were laughing or worse at that move when they decided to pair Kyrie Irving with Luka Doncic, and it has worked out exceptionally well this year. Some people calling it one of the best backcourts, maybe the best offensive backcourt in the history of the NBA, which when we just came off of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, that is definitely saying a lot when you think about how good Luka Doncic and
both individually are
Kyrie Irving have been together, right? I mean, they're both wizards, right? They're both not even like, I mean, I don't know if we've ever seen a player like either of them, right? Which is tough to say, right? I don't know if you've ever seen a player.
Really? You think Kyrie? I feel like Kyrie, there's some people you could mimic, but Luka, with the way his game is, his body type and everything, and how, I feel like he's moving in slow motion.
I mean, like, there would be no Kyrie if there hadn't been Isaiah Thomas, right? Like, people influence people's games.
Allen Iverson?
Like, Allen Iverson, yeah, sure. But there's nobody who's used angles the way Kyrie does. There's nobody who's used his left hand the way Kyrie does. I mean, Kyrie hit a game-winning 18-footer with his left hand this year. Like, There's no one who's used the angles and used layups and has that. I mean, nobody's ever played the game like Kyrie Irving. And I think you would say the same thing for Luka. I mean, they are just, the way you could say it about Steph Curry, right? There's certain players who just reinvent basketball, and the Mavericks happen to have two of them. It doesn't mean they're the best two players, but there's certainly no one who plays like them. And Luka is very young and now has had 2 conference finals and 1 NBA finals. That comes up Thursday night on ABC. Really excited on that. Also really excited to get back into our conversation. By the way, on YouTube, you put up the poll. I assume it was you, Kyle. Which Wisconsin sports team runs their organization the best? It is a runaway. I don't know if you put it on Twitter or on X, if that same question's up there, no?
Yeah, I got to find access to that.
Okay, all right. Well, it's interesting because I know we would have had a few hundred people there, but how about 14 of the 15 people on YouTube saying it's the Packers? And by the way, the only person who said the Bucks was me. Oh, no, I guess if there's 15, that means 2 people. So one other person said the Bucks. So the Packers running away with it. But that's what I want to get back into. Philosophically, give us a call. Who do you most align with how they run their organization? Packers, Brewers, Bucks. You can rank them 1 to 3 as we continue. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin. She's a summer love in the spring, fall, and winter. She can make happy any man alive. Sugar Magnolia.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Lower prices. Those aren't words you hear too often these days. But at your local Milwaukee and Chicago area IKEA stores, they've rolled out new lower prices on hundreds of your favorite furniture and home furnishing options throughout the store, making it more affordable to give any room in your home a stylish makeover. Utilizing innovations in design, production, and packaging, we strive to cut costs and lower prices without compromising quality, passing those savings on to you. Visit your local IKEA stores to see what savings are coming next.
Talking about how organizations run. How about how Gruber Law Offices runs? It's one call, that's all. And that means not just that it's one call and it ends. It means one call and your stress ends because you have someone and a team who has done something tens of thousands of times that you were never hoping to have to deal with. So you can think about the health, so your loved one can care for themselves. And you have a team who's committed to doing everything it takes to make sure your case and your situation is resolved in the best way for you. That's how they've been able to stay family-owned, stay local, but be nationally recognized over their 30-plus years of helping Wisconsinites. So if you or a loved one ever is injured, remember, it's one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices.
Sunday. It's racing season at the legendary Great Lakes Dragaway, and our schedule of events is ready. We've still got our yearly holiday weekend races like Labor Day weekend, plus Nitrous Streetcar Brawl, Import Wars, and Night of Fire. You can also book corporate and private events. Take advantage of our season-long passes and even schedule a time to take your car down the legendary quarter mile. Go to GreatLakesDragaway.com for pricing and info. Great Lakes Dragaway, just a burnout west of I-94 on County KR. Be there.
Derek Jeter for American Family Insurance.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they'll help protect your family's dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, future rocket scientist, we have liftoff, or a budding prima ballerina, you can count on an American Family Insurance agent to help you dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman here for Carbless, my go-to drink this summer. Handcrafted right here in Wisconsin, Carbless is a ready-to-drink vodka and tequila cocktail. Perfect for hanging out on the patio by the grill, chilling on the lake, or tailgating at the Brewers game. Plus, it's got 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. All summer, make sure you're following Carbless on Instagram at Drink Carbless for your chance to win a Summer Bliss prize package. Find Carbless online and at retailers near you. Carbless. Bliss is more.
One smile is great, but one smile in a community of smiles is so much better.
A smile has a secret power that most people don't know about. A smile multiplies. It spreads from one person to the next, stretching across entire groups of people. Smile Train knows this and is proud to be creating a wave of smiles across the cleft lip and palate community in over 70 countries. Patients, doctors, advocates, fundraisers. Collectively, our smiles are a celebration of the transformed lives of over 1.5 million children. Learn how Smile Train is helping the cleft lip and palate community at smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
I didn't ask for a free ride. I only asked you to show me a real good time. I never asked for the rainfall. At least I showed up. You showed me nothing at all. It's coming down on me. Harder like misery.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Man, I feel like you give me $1 million and I couldn't name who's singing this song. And I know I've heard this song a zillion times in my life.
Oh, it's two classic women.
Rain on me.
He Vogue.
It's not Madonna.
Voguing is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but Madonna vogued.
Think off, you know this next voice. You don't know the first one, but this one.
I don't know anyone's voices.
Lady Gaga. Ariana Grande.
Oh, Ariana Grande, I was going to say.
Yeah, this is her.
Yeah, I was going to say Ariana Grande, but I was actually going to say her about the first voice.
She might have been early on.
Who knew that? They collabed. No,
great collaboration.
Yeah, it's a good song. All right, Sunday Karma continues with you. By the way, both Tim and Dumpy chime in. The Last Dance was on yesterday. Good job by ABC and ESPN throwing it on yesterday. But give me all 10 hours. Give it in order. Hype it up. Make it seem like it never happened before. That should be like a tradition in the United States. Like we should all, before the NBA Finals each year, have to consume all 10 hours of The Last Dance leading into the NBA Finals each week.
What's the next great documentary that you think is going to come out based off an NBA team? Unfortunately, we lost Kobe, which would have been a great one. But what do you think the next great one is?
NBA specifically?
Yeah, NBA or NFL.
Because I'm excited to watch this Yankees one, which I think might be out, or maybe it's coming out in 2 days, maybe June 4th.
I don't. The Yankees haven't been.
No. It's about a year where they were terrible.
Oh.
And like there was all sorts of drama and the mafia. And,
what?
Yeah.
The mafia.
Yeah. You don't know about the Yankees back then? So this is when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, the George Steinbrenner, the owner of the team, hired a guy from the mafia to try to dig up dirt on Dave Winfield, his best player, because he was mad that he was paying him that much money. And George Steinbrenner ended up getting suspended from the Yankees and get kicked out of baseball.
Yeah.
And for a year, like 2 years. And by the way, that's the only reason, and it feeds into what we're talking about, organizational philosophy. That's the reason why the Yankees, for those few years, didn't trade all their good players, and they ended up holding on to their young guys. They always used to trade away all their young guys. That's why they held on to Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Andy Pettit, Jorge Posada.
Yeah.
And that ended up being the core four that ends up leading them to the championship. But, that one season, it was crazy. They had a tiger in the locker room. They had a player who ended up going to jail for 30-plus years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, not during the season, after his career was over, right?
No. It ended his career. Yeah, I'm telling you.
What in the world? This was what, 94, 5?
It had to be, it had to be like 90 maybe? Let's see.
90, okay. I just remember Derek Jeter being great. in the.
No, I'm saying, but this is okay. So it is May. It's called Bronx Zoo 90. Bronx Zoo 90. So it is the 1990 season, and it is. Let's see. Oh, it premieres on May 16th on Peacock. So it's it's already there.
So it's out.
So it's out on Peacock. Bronx Zoo 90, crime, chaos, and baseball.
I can't believe an owner of baseball tried to hire the mafia. The mafia. The thing that we all, we talk about and joke about like it doesn't exist, but it does. Organized crime exists. The owner to dig up dirt on a player?
On Dave Winfield.
Who's all mad about how much he was paying him? Yeah, Dave Winfield, isn't he an all-time great guy?
Yes, I'm telling you, I got to check. See, that's what I have not watched it yet, obviously. So that's my Palermo pick. By the way, man, that pizza bowl. We'll talk about that pizza bowl next segment. It's good. Ernie in a barn tells us that Luka plays the way Oscar Robertson used to play. I believe that, actually. The only thing is Oscar Robertson wasn't pulling up from 30, right? Oscar Robertson wasn't shooting those logo shots because there were only 2-pointers back then, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Oscar Robertson may have, like when I've seen highlights, that could have been, I like that comparison, actually. But obviously, Luka has the ability to spread the floor in a way that just wasn't possible before the 3-point shot. And that not only would have helped Oscar Robertson for himself, but also for his assists, right? If you were able to spread the floor in the way he did, the walking triple-double that was Oscar Robertson. But thanks, Ernie, for jumping in on the text line with that. 800-990-ESPN. It's 800-990-3776. We are talking about organizational philosophy today. We're not talking about the results, but we're talking about these Milwaukee Brewers and how they are back once again, 6.5 games in front of the Chicago Cubs, 7 games ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals for first place as they get ready to host the Chicago White Sox today, which absolutely recommend. Kyle, I feel like you haven't been to that many Brewers games this year.
I don't know if I've been to any. I'm going to one on the evening of June 11th.
Okay.
So that'll be my first one, and then I know I'm going to one in July, and then me and my friends want to get together for one. It is exciting. I mean, honestly, Craig, I believe it is more exciting for me as a
June 11th. You're going to see the Blue Jays in town for that one.
Fantastic. But I believe that the state of Wisconsin sports right now, professionally, is very exciting. Why? Is because in both instances of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Green Bay Packers, we moved on from players or coaches or managers, I should say, that were staples of the organization.
You moved on from the face of the organization, right? It was Aaron Rodgers and Craig Counsell were both the face of the organization.
And Corbin Burns was the best pitcher that people knew about, right? I don't know how popular he was because Christian Yelich is the big player.
I think Yelich was a bigger name.
But moving on from those two individuals where you kind of feel like we don't know what to expect, and to see the Brewers excel, to see the growth of Jordan Love and the growth of that team, there is more excitement that I have going into next season for the Green Bay Packers than probably what I had years before, because it's like, what's the next step going to be? These Milwaukee Brewers, they've been exciting for multiple years, but seeing them do it after Craig Counsell moved on, seeing some of the young guys come in, seeing basically a starting pitching rotation that most of these guys, you don't know who they are.
And by the way, Freddie Peralta goes today, so they've been winning all these games. Now Peralta starts today, 110 against the White Sox, if you want to get out to AmFam Field today.
I mean, this is exciting. This makes it more fun. Just the entertainment of, you can tell that those guys are taking on the personality of their manager, and it just is a fun team that stands up for each other. I love the fact that the first base coach got in the face of a pitcher of the Boston Red Sox when he said something slick. Like, this is what I like. This is entertaining, fun baseball, and I feel the city, when Craig Counsell got booed, I feel the city is like behind this team, right? It's not just about Craig. It's about supporting the Brewers.
Philadelphia Phillies are 7.5 ahead of the Braves. Brewers have the second largest division lead right now at 6.5. You mentioned that we spent a lot of time in the lead up to Monday's return by Craig Counsell. I want to make sure to do it because I was concerned that the organization of the Milwaukee Brewers may not do what they did, which was to play the video for Craig Counsell. And I want to give the Brewers a ton of credit for doing that. I know it was very painful from an ownership standpoint for Craig Counsell to leave and then to leave and go to the Chicago Cubs. I understand it would have been, easy for Mark Attanasio to say, hey, this guy's leaving. He's going to our rival. He's trying to take, assistant coaches and take them to Chicago. What am I going to play a tribute video for this guy? And I give Attanasio just a ton of credit because obviously Rick Schlesinger and everyone with the Brewers organization, it was the classy thing to do.
That's not me. That's the crowd booing you.
It was a very, very classy thing to do to play the video. You had to be happy they played the video.
It created more.
I'm saying it created an opportunity for the fans to show their.
It did.
This
is fans booing you for supporting Craig Counsell.
I'm supporting the organization by doing the classy thing that I think for about 5 of the last 6 months.
They're getting louder, Craig.
For 5 of the last 6 months, I did not think the organization was going to step up and do what they did, which was to play a tribute video for Craig Counsell. And then every fan has their individual right? Cheer or boo. But I think organizationally, it's always so impressive to see what our state organizations do. And I was really happy to see the Milwaukee Brewers play that video. And again, I'm not going to tell a fan to boo or not boo. I mean, I told you shouldn't boo, but I'm not going to tell fans what to do, right?
They booed the Cubs. I don't know why they wouldn't boo them.
Absolutely boo the Cubs.
Do you think Craig Counsell's not delusional, but do you think does he not understand the gravity of leaving the Brewers and going to Chicago?
He
do you think
understood.
No, but even he kind of had a tongue-in-cheek kind of smile like, I don't think he understands that it is bigger because when you're rich and famous and he's from Wisconsin, but he left, he went played baseball, wasn't really connected that much.
Dude, don't say that.
No, I mean no. When you leave, when you play in sports, Brad Nortman is a great example of someone who loved the Badgers, loved the Packers, right? He still loves the Badgers. But then when you go professionally, you play for other teams, you still like your sports teams, but that allegiance isn't so much going to be to the team that you grew up loving. It's the team that you played for, right? Carolina Panthers for Brad and Jacksonville Jaguars, and he still loves the Packers, but he does have allegiance to other places.
That's true.
Which for Craig Counsell is, I'm sure he loved the Brewers. He did, but then when he went and played for different teams.
No, right. Still, but I'm saying he managed the team for the last decade.
But it was
and
business.
He worked in the front office.
But
no,
it was business.
no.
At the end of the day, it was business. There are people that are lifers in different places. Why did Kobe never leave L.A. even though they had some down times? Because he was going to be a lifer. Giannis seems like he wants to be here in Milwaukee forever. Is when you love a place, you want to see it through. You want to see the championship come through because there is nothing more satisfying than bringing a title and a championship to a place that hasn't had that, and you be the reason why. Giannis is going to go down in history because of what he was able to bring back to the state of Wisconsin. Brett Favre is always known for the fact that he brought the title back to Titletown. Like, those are things.
Craig Counsell will always be known because he brought the Brewers to 5 of their 9 postseasons in their history. The Brewers have been around for a long time, and Craig Counsell was the manager for over half of their postseason appearances. You can't just wipe that out.
They're booing you, Craig.
All of you who are booing me right now, 5 of the 9 times you went to the postseason, Craig Counsell was your manager. Yes, he was. I understand he's the Cubs manager. You can boo him. Don't boo me. I'm just spitting facts at you, including the fact that Palermo's picks are coming up next. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Trade proposal. Christian Watson. Packers receive Justin Jefferson. I think I found a way for us to get Ayuk, Jefferson, and T. Higgins and not have to give up all that much.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Spring into massive April savings with the Midwest #1 automotive leader at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunes Auto Group dealership. Get incredible spring cleaning sale pricing on America's best-selling brands from both Buick and GMC at nearby Kunes locations in Greenfield and Oak Creek. Your April savings will blossom with incredible spring cleaning savings and discounts on our entire inventory of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. At Kunes, we make it easy to find the vehicle of your needs needs, always at a price and payment that you can afford. Spring is the perfect time to refresh your ride. We're paying top Kelly Blue Book values on your trade, no matter what the mileage or condition. The weather's warming and the deals are getting hot at your Cunis Auto Group dealerships, the Midwest #1 automotive leaders. Spring is the season for savings, exclusively at your local Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis Auto Group dealerships, or shop online at shopcunis.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Curbless ready-to-drink cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Value and savings keep on coming with quick hot savings from Quick Trip. And right now, we're cooling off with $2.49 a gallon Nature's Touch milk. All 1 gallon, 2%, 1%, and skim Nature's Touch milk, just $2.49. Looking to make that perfect movie night milkshake? Or how about making those morning waffles extra fluffy? Our fresh, straight from our dairy Nature's Touch milk is on sale and ready to hit your fridge. With quick hot savings from Quick Trip, we're here to save you some moolah.
Using gas to heat our homes can be dangerous, but we have the technology to transition to clean electric alternatives. My name is Matt Vespa. I'm a senior attorney at Earth Justice, and I'm going to court to fight for clean energy. Until safe, affordable clean energy is an option in every home, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. Visit us at earthjustice.org.
It's that time.
Yes, it's finally here.
Craig makes his picks of the week.
You can bet the house on it.
Picks of the week on Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin. Presented by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Can't wait to see what happens next.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Stop booing me. All right, it is our Palermo's Picks brought to us by Palermo's. Man, I told you about it all show. Palermo's Bowls. It's no crust. It's like just the toppings. It's ultimately it's nothing but the toppings. And 27 grams of protein. It was like 550 calories. It was straight out of the microwave in 4 minutes because it basically put it in the microwave for 2, stirred it up, like peeled the thing back, stirred it for like 30 seconds, threw it back for a minute and a half. And that was the pepperoni, which had a little red peppers and what were those? Yellow onions in those. Man, when I think Palermo's Pizza's done it all, they add something to it. You always hear me. I love them. They're Wisconsin, Beluga families in the mix, philanthropically, doing so much, creating jobs. And to have a pizza brand like Palermo's, I actually had an urban pie this week, which is like on my power pole, like I'm always in the Screaming Sicilian, I'm in the Palermo's, I'm in the Connie's. I actually had an urban pie this week, which was delicious. And then also the pizza bowls, new from Screaming Sicilian, nothing but the toppings. They bring you our Palermo's Picks. So Kyle, I mentioned we were going to talk about that 90s Bronx Yankees thing. So that's already out. But, in my proper football, you know I love me some Welcome to Wrexham. Season 3's out. Have you watched
season 3? Huh?
Have you watched season 1 or 2?
No, I have not. It's
Why
on
don't
Hulu?
you binge that on Hulu with your lady friend?
Why
is Ryan Reynolds too good looking? You feel like she'll be getting all sweet on Ryan Reynolds?
No, I got my baby. She ain't going nowhere.
Okay,
she gonna love me.
All right, so I recommend it. Just give it a shot.
How long is each episode?
Maybe like 40 minutes.
Ooh, how many episodes per season?
Man, or are they even shorter?
30 minutes would be great. I'll check it out because I think it's on Hulu, right?
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu is on. No,
I'll watch one. Just watch 1 or 2 episodes and see if you're feeling it.
Yeah, I think it's something I would get into. Right now, I was working on watching Curb Your Enthusiasm the last season.
Oh, that's good. I didn't finish the last season. I actually forgot about that.
I'm a slow mover because I don't like when things end.
Yeah,
and so I've been holding off on it, but hilarious.
That is a great last season. I've watched like 3 or 4 of those episodes. But let's talk about the NBA Finals. We have not mentioned the Boston Celtics at all. We talked a little bit about Luka and Kyrie, and you also got to give the Dallas Mavericks a ton of credit for what they did. Now, first of all, they tanked a little bit at the end of last year, which allowed them to get into draft position to be able to draft Lively, who has been so impactful at the center position. And then they also made 2 trades at the deadline to get P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford. So you got to give them a lot of credit when we talk about teams, organizations willing to go all in. They did that. And also, you got to give the Celtics credit. Brad Stevens won Executive of the Year. Maybe. They were the best team in the regular season, so certainly deserved it.
Were we afraid?
Goes out and gets Porzingis, and of course we were afraid. The second we traded Drew Holiday, it was like, all right, is he going to end up on the Sixers, the Heat, or the Celtics? Because we know he's going to end up on one of them, and we know we're going to see them in the playoffs. The only thing that happened is we weren't there in the playoffs. So, yeah, we knew this was happening, of course.
Yeah, it's tough.
Who do you think's going to win?
The Mavericks going to win.
Really?
I think the Mavericks going to win. I think Kyrie, the firepower of Kyrie and also Luka combined together, I really think they're going to win the finals. The Celtics are good, but I don't.
So is that choking if the Celtics don't win?
No, I just think it's a good team, right? Those are both
the Mavericks
really
are legit.
Two
but I'm saying the
teams.
Celtics, it seemingly is laid out for them this year. They had a lot of injuries on their road, not from them. They just had the Porzingis injury, but a lot of the teams they played were beat up.
Yeah,
they had the best record in the NBA. Porzingis is coming back, but
I don't think had the Pacers been healthy in that series, having Halliburton healthy that series,
could have gone 6.
It probably goes 6 games,
yeah.
right? And I don't think the Pacers are as good as the Mavs. I think that the Celtics have shown that they are a good team. I don't know how battle-tested they are in the sense of having real toughness and being challenged.
They have 6 incredible players.
If you
include Al Horford. They don't go much deeper than that, right? When you get into Peyton Pritchard, Hauser, they are very top-heavy.
Whose scoring duo do you believe in the most? Do you believe in Luka and Kyrie more than you believe in Jalen and Jason? And I believe in Luka and Kyrie more than I believe in Jalen and Jason.
I would normally say, but I believe in the Celtics duo as better defensively. But the Mavericks have been the best defensive team in the NBA down the stretch of this regular season and into the postseason. So Kyrie and Luka have been playing enough defense to make that happen at least.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. This is probably one of the more exciting finals since our Bucks is in it.
Yeah, this is exciting players, different personalities. Should be a great, great NBA finals. And you know what you should do? Enjoy it with a Palermo's Pizza or one of the new bowls from Screamin' Sicilian. It is my brand, Screamin' Sicilian. Remember, don't settle. Stay healthy. Stay together. Survive today and thrive tomorrow. Brewers taking on the White Sox, 110 American Family Field. Peralta on the mound. Get out and see it. And Kyle, send us out.
Peace.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Even when you get a great price, diamonds cost a lot of money.
But we want you to be able to buy the engagement ring you really want.
You won't have to settle for anything less than fantastic when you come to Kessler's.
We do everything in our power to make it possible for you to give her that magical engagement ring you really want her to have.
Friendly financing makes it possible.
We can give you 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit.
And with approved credit, we can give you 36 months to pay with just 9.99%.
And if getting your credit approved